Hey, friends, welcome back. Let me ask you something right out of the gate. Okay, have you ever had big goals and then you just completely lost momentum? You were felt too tired, too overwhelmed, maybe even too ashamed to start again. Yeah, me too. I had a whole quarter where nothing went the way I planned, and I started wondering if I should quit YouTube altogether. I was like, no, man, I had a plan. I'm going to do this. Here's the thing. You can start again. You don't need permission or a perfect plan. You need a moment like this one. And that's what tonight is about. Tonight is about a reset. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Tech Troublemaker. And if you're part of my YouTube community, the Troublemakers, you know we're here to be helpful, to make helpful, hopeful content. We want to inform, we want to educate and encourage. So tonight, we're going to dig into how to reset your focus and get back on track without beating yourself up. And I could think of no better way to do it than have somebody who has been an inspiration and it's just the bomb. It's Florence Donald from Equip Institute. She is the real deal. She is amazing. And so she is a productivity and workflow expert. And more than that, she helps people like me move forward without guilt. So, well, okay, a little bit of guilt. She's tough love, but in a very graceful way. All right, here she is, folks. Florence. Hey, Florence, how you doing
Hey,
tonight?
hey, Roy. So glad to be here. I'm
Uh,
excited.
I am so glad you're here
I
too.
am excited.
Yeah, you're just one of my favorite people, and I've joked that you are, like a content creation therapist. We're neither of us are licensed therapists, by the way. This series is called
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Creator Therapy, so I just want to put that disclaimer out. We're not registered licensed therapists, but we have experiences. And Florence's claim is to fame is that she is fantastic at being productive and helping others when they're stuck. And so that's why I said, Florence, you got to be on the show. We got to talk about that. And on her channel, you've been sharing these great tips about Evernote and the Stream Deck and about mind maps and just all these things about how to get productive. And so and lately been doing productivity with content creators. So that's a fantastic topic. So Florence, what the heck do
Yes,
we
sir.
do when we get stuck? What do we I how do we get unstuck? Tell me.
Do you want the what Florence does,
I do. I want the
or
Florence.
or do you want like a real answer?
Both.
Some days I literally want to lay in the floor and ball up in a ball, but you can't do that for very long. You get about 2.2 seconds to do that. But really, just for me, it comes back to three words: why? Why? Why am I doing the thing that I do want to do, even when I'm stuck? What's my fundamental in my gut? What's my reason? Not what other people think, not what the world says it should be, but really deep down, that place where you don't tell anybody else, what's my why? And when I can tap into that, or I can help another person tap into that place, then the rest of it kind of finds its way. It just, the obstacles start to move away and the focus comes back, because ultimately what it boils down to is focus.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that
you don't have to feel guilty, right? Life happens to us all.
it
I've
does.
recently been talking about, I had this grand plan for the month of March in terms of what I was going to do, what my month was going to be like, what I was going to do. And specific to YouTube, I was going to put a video out every month. I mean, every day in March. 2 weeks into March, my world, my life flipped upside down. And I had a choice. I could either figure out how to roll with what was happening and not feel guilty, give myself grace, or I could be frustrated. I didn't do a video every day. I did a video every day for about the first 10 days or so. And then I at least got a video, recorded video out once a week. And I kept going with my live streams. And I had to recognize, go back to that question, why? Why is this important? And this other thing you're facing, why is that important? And what's the difference? There's no shame, no guilt, nothing. It comes back to why. What's the why?
Florence, why do you think people lose focus or drift away from their goals? Is it just life happens, or what do you think
Well,
happens?
first, this sound like a broken record. We really don't zone in on what is the thing that's really truly going to move the needle. When we say that, what is the thing that's going to go from where we are to where we want to be? We don't start out at the end. We start out at whatever our beginning is, and we have energy, and we're excited, and we see all the possibilities. But in everything, there's uncertainty. And so when we allow the uncertainty to take over and we don't account for the fact that there's just simply uncertainty, something is going to come up, something is going to change, some distraction is going to happen, something is going to happen in our family, in our life, in our health, wherever. And we just did not, in the other part of my world, we call this, we didn't put a mitigation strategy in place. There are only four things you can do. You can avoid it, you can accept it, you can give it to somebody else, the classic buy car insurance, or you can mitigate it. Like, that's really the only four things you can do. So when we get to a place where we lose focus, so to speak, on a goal, we have not really committed to what that goal is. You may not do it at the time, but if you're committed to the goal, you'll come back to it and you'll get right back in line, back on track, and keep moving to the goal. The goal, if you say, I'm going to publish a video for 31 days straight, pick whatever 31 days, and something in life happens, you get sick, a spouse gets sick, a child gets sick, a parent gets sick, a pet gets sick, anything could happen, then is that more important in the short term? Do you put it to the side and know that I need to take care of my family member or me or whatever? And then when that kind of calms down a bit, you come back and say, where was I on this road? Okay, I got 10 days done. Let me pick up and keep going. I'll pick up from here and I'll continue on this road. But the reason we get frustrated is we get excited and we want that and we want whatever that big idea was to be done. And we wanted nothing else to ever get in the way and never take us off track and no uncertainty. Well, the world is full of uncertainty. We're not guaranteed anything at any 5 minutes in life. Our life is full of uncertainty.
Yes, it is. We got a lot of folks out here. We're certain about that. Let's see what
Awesome.
everybody else to talk about tonight. Pierre Kelly
Awesome.
says Happy Taco Tuesday. Stuart, hey. Pierre was telling us it's just gone 8 Central. Yes. Florence saying, hey everybody, let's go. It's Tora. Hey, how you doing? Laura. Tora and Laura. There we go. It matches up there. Good morning. Hey, Roy, Florence, Pierre, Stuart, Laura, Tora. Is Miss Denise. Hello, Roy, into the chat. I love this. Yes, you can start again. New background, Roy. I'm always changing it up. I move the camera around. So, hey, Denise. Great to see you both on screen again. Yes, Florence says, as it is, no sugarcoating, tough love, but indeed, most of the time, that's what we all need. Yes, it's Florence. How to get unstuck and give us a real answer. And if you haven't checked out Florence's channel here, yes, thank you so much. I definitely was going to share everybody her channel, make sure everybody goes out there and subscribes to her. Give oneself grace. That is so true. And as much as we want to be consistent, life does happen. Hey, la. Hey, awesome people, it's Matt Haas. Friends, do you know that Roy has digital download store? Please check it out. Yeah. I do have a focus reset checklist out there in my digital download store. It's completely free. Just go out there and click on it. Hey, it's Philip, Florence, Roy. So how everybody's out there tonight. Florence, is there something that you've started but you haven't finished and you just still think about it?
A goal that I still think about. I
Maybe,
have lots of them.
you got one you want to tell us about?
I mean, all truth. I'm productive, but I'm also a realist, and so I have lots. I talked about in a video about a week or so ago that I started a lot of things and I didn't finish them. And in hindsight, looking back, I realized many of those activities that I started, those goals I set, A, I didn't have a real why for them. Um, but B, many times I was being prepared for where I am now. For me to be able to do what I'm doing now in my life, I wouldn't have been able to because I wouldn't have had enough life experience to draw from to be able to move forward. So, a goal that I stopped that I still care about is something I want to do for my sister, my oldest sister, for raised me because I lost my parents when I was young, very young. It was a weird time, weird 6 months. Um, and so the vow that I have is my sister will never want for anything. And she wants me to move back home with her, and I haven't done that. And I'm getting to the point where I'm probably going to have to make the decision to move back home with her because she's getting to the point where she shouldn't be home by herself. Her kids are all gone. Um, so she's by herself, kind of like we're both by ourselves. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's tough. That's definitely tough. I can kind of relate to that with my parents and them going downhill, and then my father passing away, and then my mom. And there for a bit, I gave myself grace on not creating because I said, "Well, I'm busy taking care of things," but I wasn't using my time wisely. Um, and so that's kind of part of the whole thing is you gotta as you told me multiple times, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. Everybody has that
Still
same
only
amount of time.
1,440 minutes in a day.
Yeah,
No more, no less.
and some people do these amazing, great things in their 1,440 minutes, and then others of us waste them and don't make the most of them. Um, I mean, how can we refocus without beating ourselves up? You got any thoughts on that?
I sure do. I'm going to say this. Um, don't do to yourself what you wouldn't allow another person to do to you. You would not allow another person to speak to you in the negative tone that we talk to ourselves, in the negative words we talk to ourselves in. And it takes discipline. There's a fantastic book. I'm not remembering the name of the author right now. It's on the shelf over here, but I'm not going to try to get up and go get it. But it's what to say when you talk to yourself. Um, there's also another book, Hung by the Tongue. Those are two of my favorites because they really help you change that inner dialogue that we all have. But beyond that, because I say give yourself grace, and I really mean figure out how to be kind to yourself, emotionally be kind to yourself. Some people think being kind to myself, I'll say because I'm a woman, is I'm going to get a manicure, pedicure, and all of that. Yes, that is. But when I say be kind to yourself, I'm talking about emotional and mental kindness to ourselves. We can be beautiful, we can have all the things and have look great on the outside. But if really we're tore up from the floor up on the inside, it's still going to be visible. So, first, to get refocused is put some time in. Journaling is a great way. Get it out of your head. Whatever that is, put it on paper. And your idea, your goal, your dream, not 15 of them, the one big one, the one that's going to make a difference for all of the other things to happen. And it could be different for each of us. But that big goal, really put it down on paper and look at it. I say this all the time, but it's so true. Look at it objectively, not what we're thinking in our head, not the picture that we've drawn, but really look at it objectively and say, what is this thing? When it's all said and done, what does it really amount to? Start there. Usually, other people are associated with it. Usually. Who am I to help? This thing I put on this paper, I'm going to use an example. Growing an online community. Why? Why am I putting the effort in to be on YouTube, to make videos, to do live streams, to write blogs, to send emails, write emails, send emails, do LinkedIn posts, and other things? Why am I doing all of that? What's the core? And it's to help a group of people that I wouldn't be able to help otherwise. So what does that look like? How many people does it look like? What transformation can I help them go through? Really put it on paper and look at it. It's not about me. Roy, I talked about you, I think it was last week, and answering someone's question. I when I started doing live streaming, I knew, as I say, less than zero about live streaming. But because people like you were there, you said, I want to help that person who doesn't know anything. And I still to this day will text you or call you or email you and ask you questions because I still don't know what I'm doing. That's part of your why. If your why is to help, how many people do you want to help? Is it 10 people? Is it 1,000 people? Is it 10,000 people? Not how big do you want to be, but how many people do you want to help? How many people were you purposed to serve? Get that idea out and look at it. Really look at it and determine what it means. So that's one. It's hard, and I apologize to y'all. Roy told you I'm not soft and cuddly. Sorry. I'm fluffy, but not soft and cuddly. But then once you do that and you've broken out, do the five why. I talked about it in the Mind Map show. Do the five. Why am I doing this? Who is involved? What resources do it? And we'll get all to what resources do I need? When will I get this thing done? What's my goal date? But then break that down into smaller chunks. I call them interim deliverables. The example I used was when I decided to do a summit. What were all of the pieces and parts that needed to be done before the summit became a reality, before it actually happened? Identifying the speakers, then booking the speakers, right? Figuring out their topics, figuring out their dates, writing the event page copy. All of those were interim steps to work through, but each one had something real and tangible that came from it. If you want to produce more videos, what are the interim tangible steps? The outcomes, not the activities. Okay, I'm going to have an edited video. I'm going to have music that I like if I want to put music. I'm going to have my thumbnail done. I'm going to have my script written or my bullet points written or my outline written. I'm going to have a date selected. I'm even going to have the clothes that I want to wear selected. Those are interim, tangible things that you can put your hands, you can see it. It's visible to you.
Mm.
And then you're just going to work out the sequence. It doesn't all happen at one time. I didn't go from having an idea to have 8 guest speakers speak at a summit to the next day. That took months. A video these days, because I'm using as much of the single recording process as I can,
Mm.
and it's little editing, even though I'm going through learning how to edit with Final Cut Pro. What are those interim steps for each type? And then when am I going to do them? Set those dates, figure out what the dependencies are, what has to be done first, second, third, fourth. There's something you can't do until you do something else. Write all of that stuff out. Doesn't have to be fancy. A plain notebook and a pencil
Mm.
will work. Start simple. Simple is so much more powerful. When you overcomplicate it, you reduce your effectiveness because you're dealing with a bunch of stuff you don't need to deal with. It's not going to move the needle for you. It's not going to get you toward your goal. I have all kind of technology. I have access to all kinds of generative AI and agentic AI technology, and I do use it. But when it comes to me personally in my getting things done world, my life world, I keep it as simple as possible. I commit to a certain set of tools and I stick with those. I, my daily note has been set up the same way every day for years. 4 years. Why? Because it works. My brain has gotten accustomed to it. So go through that, set your systems up. And in terms of what you want to, what you need to get things done, make sure you're capturing that. I talked about this last month when I was going through brainstorming is one of the steps is identify your resources. Now, when I say the word resources, I'm not using resources the way many people say it. Many people say the word resources and they think people. Resources is more than people. It's what software you need, what equipment you need, what skills do you need. That's a big one. What skills do you need to develop in yourself? What expertise do you need? Right? Example, I have a VA that I use for very specific things. I've had this service for years. There are times when I know I will handwrite out something that I want to do. Maybe it's a speech, maybe it's a sermon, maybe it's a whatever. And I take a picture and send it to her and have her turn it into a typed document. That's valuable to me and it makes sense for my world. I use a calendar booking system. Do not call me because you're probably not going to get an answer to book time with me. I'll give you a link and go there. And those people who don't, is very few who, very, very few, like they'll fit on this hand that get away from using that booking system with me. So figure out what those resources are, what the expertise is you need, and then how do you get it, and when do you need it, and what is important to you to maximize your 1,440 minutes you have a day. I call it the great equalizer because no human, no matter who you are, if you're alive and you make it 24 hours, doesn't matter what your circumstances are, how old, how young, how wealthy, how not wealthy, how tall, how short, it none of that matters. We all have the same amount of time every day. No human has any more than another. And then once you've done all of that, put overalls on your calendar and make it go to work for you, right? Not your head, not in 15 different places where you don't know where it is. Put it on your calendar so that you can see it. If it's something, especially if it's something important for that day, make sure it is on your calendar. When I started learning the David Allen getting things done method, I don't use all of it, but I use parts of it. And one of the big parts that I took away was that information that I needed for the day, that to do that didn't have a time slot or reminder, it didn't have a time slot, but I really needed to see it on that day. I put it on my calendar as an all day event. I do this with my team. If you're going to be out of the office, send me a calendar, all day calendar invite, and it'll be at the top of my calendar. Why? I don't have to remember that you're out of the office. I'm looking at my calendar all day and I'll see it. I won't call you. I won't email you. I won't text you. I won't ask you, tomorrow why you didn't get something done yesterday. Why? Because I'm looking at it. Same thing for me. If I have an today, of course, Roy was on my calendar. He sent me the calendar invite. But yesterday, I had on my calendar a reminder to make sure I was prepared for today. Pick what I was going to wear, pick what time I was going to be available. All of those things. Make it visible and small enough that you can actually do it. Not so big that it's 15 steps and you're never going to tackle it. I know it's a lot. Sorry.
Yeah. We got a lot of comments out here. Let's just get caught up there. They are enjoying it. Tornado says, "Say that, Florence." Uh,
Hey, Tora.
Mommy Guide says, 525,600 minutes in a year. A song I love so much from the musical Rent, Seasons of Love. Yep, good song. Just got to start treating your inner voice like it matters because it does. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Yep,
Yes.
I like that. Reviewing the big goal, the one that affects all the others. Yes, that's right here. That's right there. Hey, Walter's got a comment. Great power tip, being emotionally and mentally kind to yourself. I like that. Lala says, who's our worst critic? Give ourselves grace and look objectively on things. Florence says journaling can be a great help. Yep. Hey, Walter, Tora, that is so true. Hello, my friend. The big question, the why, exactly. You know more than you think. You don't stop, Fluffy. Florence has about 200 helpful and awesome videos and live streams on his channel. Check them out. By the way, Florence goes live every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So you need to definitely. I'll show you her. There's her channel link right there. You definitely want to make sure you don't miss that. She has so many productivity tips. Start simple, baby steps. The right tools plus the real plan equals momentum. Identify your resources. Early saves so much stress later. Yep. Tara, I'm loving all these nuggets. She's talking directly to me now, putting it putting it in one place and give it time. Yep. Hello, hey, Dr. Wood, how are you, sir? Dr.
Hey, Dr.
Dwayne,
Wood.
how are you? Hey, Lala. So, just people struggle so much. What are some common mistakes that people make when they're trying to get back on track? I mean, how do you get somebody to get them back on track? What do you recommend for that? I mean, you've gone over some fantastic nuggets. We got to start writing stuff down, journaling, putting stuff on the calendar. Make things into baby steps. I guess that really answers that, really mentions to that. But it's so hard. It's so easy to get off track, and just that inner and outer conflict that happens. How do you handle that?
So I'm gonna say this. I take different parts of my life and I they get blended together because I'm one person, right? I'm one person with one life. So all these different hats that you wear or roles that you have, you take lessons from them. Um, and so one of the big mistakes is not knowing where you expect, not setting your own expectations and being very clear about what they are. One of the things I'm going dealing with right now is clearly always being very specific when I'm setting expectations with other people, um, about what we're going to do, about when we're going to do it, about how we're going to do it. And then when something changes, when a piece of uncertainty hits, just resetting that expectation. Set your own expectation. And when what we in my world call a risk, it can be an opportunity, it can also be a threat. Either one, they both work. But when that risk is triggered, be sure to set expectation on how you're going to deal with it, right? A lot of us get frustrated and we think, I had this big goal. I was going to have a party with 500 people there. And um, something happened in my family, and now I can't have the party. And I'm really frustrated and I'm really exhausted and I don't know what to do. Well, you do know what to do. Start at the beginning. If we're talking content creation and you had a big goal of this fabulous 4-hour live stream you were going to do, and then something happened. Let's say what I call a bivocational creator. You have a profession, a business, a job, or whatever, and you're doing content creation. You're creating videos and putting them out and doing live streaming. And something happened in that non-live streaming world that you really have to take care of. I'm going to pick on one of our friends out there. Um, you know, are earthquake kits, and you got to make sure your family is okay. Well, that live stream has to go on hold while you make sure your family is okay. Don't get confused and put things out of order. Faith, family, finance. Your faith is first, your family is next. Everything else falls after that. Don't get things out of order. Stay in alignment. And so many people get sidetracked and get out of alignment. Many of us, myself included, again, I'm not perfect. A perfect person does not exist on earth. If someone tells you they're perfect, they are telling themselves and everybody else a big old fat story. Because none of us are. But stay in alignment and don't get confused about what's important. That's the big thing. Don't get confused about what's important. And for me, faith is top, family is next, everything else comes after that. You can't make another person. Dr. Wood is in the building today. When he treats a patient, that life matters. Why? It can't be replicated. I work in healthcare, and people talk to me all the time about why are you so passionate about what you do? Because every life matters and it cannot be replaced and it cannot be replicated. Everything else you can get more of. You can't get another life. So start there. Who's important in your life? Your family. Everybody else can come in after that. Content creation is about people. It's not about cameras and lights and all this other stuff. It's about people. Don't lose track of it. After your family, those who are closest to you, the rest of us will fit in where we get in. Keep that in mind. When you get off track, you're out of alignment with what's truly important. When uncertainty happens and you have to deal with that uncertainty or that situation, that is not necessarily off track from a goal. It means there's uncertainty, it has been triggered, I need to address it, and then I can get back to where I want to be. Keep those things in mind, stay in alignment. You don't have to start over, you can start back where you were and keep moving forward. If I didn't answer your question, I'll try again. But
I
I'm speaking genuinely from where I come
yeah,
from and from my heart, not a script or what someone told me. It's what I've had to live.
yeah. I just keep thinking in my head, amen to that, amen to that, amen to that.
Um, I'll give you an example of one of the reasons this is so important to me. This was a few years ago, and I've had a kind of a weird, odd way as a leader. I never care whether people check in, check out, what time they show up. What I care about is, do you get your work done? Do you meet the needs of the client? Do you show up when you say you're going to show up? Are you where you say you're going to be? I had somebody who was going from one part of the DMV to another part of the DMV. The person didn't show up where they were supposed to show up. No one had heard from them.
Mm.
I started calling them, they didn't answer. Rather than me being concerned about them not getting to the other place, my concern now is this person okay? Where are they? And it turned out the person was had been admitted to the hospital because they were a victim of a road rage incident and was nearly killed. And when I talked to the person's spouse, I didn't care about what the person didn't get done. What I cared about is, what do you need and how do we support you, because your spouse is gonna got a long road of recovery. Content can be just that serious. You don't know whose life you are affecting in a positive way. It's not about the cameras and the lights it's not even really about the videos. It's about the people you were purposed to support, to help, to serve, to help transform their life. So
Wow.
that's how I think.
Yeah. And I have a similar mindset about my team. It's, are you there when I need you? Are you prepared for the stuff we need to get done? But at the end of the day, it's about the person. And if there's something going on with them, I'm like, you need to take care of your family first. We'll be
Mm-hmm.
here. We'll be here. We'll be here. Take care of your
And our
family first.
content is the same,
Yeah.
right? Our content is very much the same. It is another part of our life.
Yeah.
And there are people we're destined to affect in a positive way. But we can't affect them in a positive way if we're not healthy, if we're not mentally healthy, if we're not physically healthy, if we're not emotionally healthy, if we're not spiritually healthy. It all is going to come out. So if I was starving to death, I told y'all I'm fluffy, so clearly I am not starving to death. But if I was starving and all I could think about is where's another meal going to come from, I couldn't help anybody. If I'm sick all the time, then it doesn't matter how much content that I want to put out. My health is not it's not holding up for me to do that. So those pieces are really important. That emotional health, that mental health, spiritual health, and our physical health has to be in order. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it again. I'm far from it. But start taking the steps if we're not to take care of those things because that gives us the energy, the space, the time, the clarity, the clear thinking, the creativity, the ability to see beyond what's obvious to put it together, to get it out to people that we are a purpose to serve.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Uh, Torah says getting on track is about vision. Keeping track is about discipline. Focus keeps the finish line in sight. Matt Haas says 500-person party. Sign me up.
Yes, sir.
Mommy says Florence, you're right. Sometimes we do know what to do, but we refuse to do it because it's not something we want to do at that time. Procrastination did ensures alignment priorities. I love it. And Matt also says faith, family, finance, and tacos.
Matt, I got a secret for you. I had tacos today. This is how my day went. My tacos still are not eaten, and I started eating them at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's how my day went today.
Tor says, in my opinion, the first piece of gear every creator needs before Roadcaster is a blueprint to and stay on track. Matt.
Agree.
Now, Matt
Agree.
says, Matt, I just realized I hadn't had breakfast. Tacos sound great right now. Hey, just I had breakfast for dinner, la la. Yeah, definitely everything Florence is saying is so powerful. Yeah, just amazing stuff, Florence. So what about our goals? So we had goals first of the year, and we went off track. Do we get those goals out? We dust them off, and we run them back through the filter that you gave us, where we give ourselves grace that we fell off the track, and then we maybe take that goal and break it into small chunks, and try to accomplish it still. Put it on the calendar. Try to get organized. Keep it there. It's is there ever a case where we need to shrink our goal, or do we just keep striving for that goal no matter what?
So goals are interesting little creatures, right? Um, we can have, and most of us do have lots of goals. So the question becomes, what are the goals that are meaningful right now, or in the next 3 months, or the next 6 months, the next 12 months, or the next 5 years? There used to be a time where I would say, put your 5 years goals down and then work your way back. That doesn't work for the majority of people. Not, I won't say all, but the majority. And the reason is our lives are dynamic. So a year in, the next 4 years, something could have transpired that looked completely pivot our life, right? So it's not shrinking our goals, it's assessing where we are in our life, in our business, and where do we want to be, and how do we get there? What are the interim steps? What are the interim deliverables we can take to get to closer to where we want to be? I'm going to use myself as a bad example. Like I said, I'm not perfect. Um, I started live streaming with no experience. And I recently realized that I needed to create pre-recorded videos. Really started in January, focusing on creating these videos. But I started without having an intentional goal about how many, even though I'd been taught that, how many, how did I want to structure them? What did I want to focus on? Then I got to March, well, really I got to February and had this grand plan for March that fell completely apart for a good reason, but it still fell apart. It's not that my vision has shrank. It's recognizing where I am, where my life is right now, what's I can fit in this 1,440 minutes I have every day. And then using a sequence of steps to make sure I'm operating in order. That's really, it's not shrinking our goals, it's being real. What's the reality in our life, in our business, in our ministry, in our family, in our homes, in our careers? How much have we taken on? What commitments have we made? And then within that, okay, what can I stop doing? What should I stop doing? If you watch many of my live streams, particularly, I talk about there are some things in my life I just simply don't do. Point blank, period. I do not do them. And I decided a long time ago, based on the way my life operated, those were things that I would not do, and I don't feel guilty about it. Right? So I'm going to give you a kind of a silly one. I don't change the light bulbs. Why?
Yes, why?
Changing light bulbs takes time, it takes resources. But that really wasn't the reason that I stopped. I have cathedral ceilings in my kitchen and a hardwood floor. I was in the house by myself one day and decided to change the light bulbs. I got up on a 6 foot ladder with light bulb in hand and this little pole thing that you have to twist to take the light bulbs out. I woke up on the floor. I fell off of the 6 foot ladder, could have died, and woke up. My brother was getting me up off the floor. We don't know to this day what happened that I fell off that ladder. I don't even remember it. I know I did it because I woke up. I didn't feel sick or anything. So I don't change light bulbs. I don't get up on ladders. Something needs to be done that requires a ladder, you won't see me doing it. That's just a kind of a silly example, but sometimes it can be just that simple, things that you just simply don't do.
Yeah, I was just thinking how many Florences does it take to change the light bulb? None, because it ain't happening.
Well, apparently it will be zero. The number will be zero because Florence will not be doing that. If it requires me to get up on a ladder, you can be rest assured it will not happen.
Mommy God says, finish well. I always remind myself that. Taurus says, the hardest part I have to drive home as a marketing consultant is your logo isn't your brand, you are. It's about emotional impact you leave behind. Definitely
Yes,
true.
people remember how you made them feel, not what you said, or even many times what you did,
Yeah.
how you made them feel. There's a woman she is so precious to me. Oh my goodness, she is super precious to me. She's one of my mentors. And at a time in my life where I felt the least amount of belief in myself, she sat in a hotel room with me in Las Vegas when she should have been with her family. Her husband was calling, her kids were seeing mommy come, and she took the time to sit with me and just counsel me. And it made such a difference in my life. That was it. It is, there's no amount of money to replace what she did for me. Sometimes it's just that simple, taking time. Time is a precious gift we can give people, and I couldn't buy what she gave me. And it got me back on track to move toward where I was destined to move.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to preach, I promise.
No, this is fantastic stuff. You're giving away so many nuggets, Florence. I just thank you so much for being on the show and sharing all this with us because it's the the community is getting amazing stuff out of this. Uh,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
I really share from my real life, from what I've walked through, um, not from just reading books, not from what someone else told me, but I really share from what I have personally walked through, grown through, experienced, and many times been weak at and came out stronger on the other end.
yeah. Matt says he's really sorry about the half a taco that remained uneaten several
Yeah,
times.
my
Yeah.
tacos, my poor little tacos. I tried to eat them today.
And Lala says, looking back my 4 year journey, I have broken so many rules that a lot of coaches say we shouldn't do as content creators, but I knew most of them wouldn't work for me. Exactly.
But did they work for you?
Yeah.
Did what you did worked for you?
And then she says, I know where I
That's
want to
that's
go.
the rule to be concerned
Yeah.
about.
I do
Because for
everything
every
wrong.
rule that someone else tells you, somebody else is going to tell you the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yes. Be careful of the snake oil that some people sell you.
Hmm.
It's still the way you can do it. No, that's not the way I'm going to do it. Lala says, I know where I want to go, how to get there. It must be something I can do and can sustain. And then,
Yeah, sustainability and everything. Exactly.
yeah. Tor says exactly, everyone's rules aren't
I
ours.
can't believe the little red car hadn't come for me yet. That little red car be coming for us, girl. Let me just tell you.
She says, can I mow my lawn? Yes. Do I? No. I can be in my lane and let the young man continue to do a great job. Mommy says, thanks, Tora. I felt guilty in the beginning. I wasn't following the so-called rules, but found peace in just being me. Walter says, great example,
Everybody else is
Florence.
taken.
Yeah.
Everybody else is taken, so you got to be you.
He's Walter says, great example, Florence. Sometimes being confronted with crisis will help us realize our limitations in our life and as a content creator.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, Florence, thanks for sharing your actual journey. It's simply Obs. Obs, how you doing?
Hey,
Hey
Obs.
there.
Oh, Aubrey, I got to show you something. Give me 1 second.
Oh, we got
This is what I used today. It's a DV, a Delta DV, medium nib. This is what we were using today.
uh, does the
Obs is my writing buddy.
does she? Yeah, she gets out there and does a live stream of her writing every day. It's very cool. It's a good way to hold yourself accountable. Where's Obs at? Why is she not writing today? So that's a great way to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, Florence, just thank you so much. You are always such a big help to me, and I just want to thank you and really appreciate you being on here and helping the troublemakers out here that are all trying to make a difference in the world through one video at a time. And so that's
Hmm.
some great stuff. And we all get off track and we let life happen around us and it pushes us off our path. And, as you said, we give ourselves some grace and get back on that path and keep trying to do what we were originally shooting for to do all along. So thank you so much for just
You're welcome.
everything.
I'm just wondering, do we really get off track though? I would challenge that thinking.
Really?
And by that I mean, when you address the unexpected that comes along, there was a young man who lived 33 years, and everything that he did that that are miracles were the result of interruptions along his path. Somebody needed something. Somebody was sick. Somebody was hungry. Somebody was beaten. So did it get him off his path of what he was purposed to do and what he was here to do in those 33 years? No, it was exactly what he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Every step, every word, every groan, every prayer, every pool of sweat, every challenge was purpose for what he was to accomplish that no one else could accomplish. So, what about us? Are we really getting off track? Or is it another step in the way our life is ordered? Are we getting ahead of where we're supposed to be? We have great goals and great ideas. Really, I would say we have great ideas more than great goals. But if our goal is to serve 100,000 people, is that a goal we can do by ourselves? Do we need other people? If our goal is to serve 10,000 people, is that a goal we can reach by ourselves? Is our goal to have 10,000 subscribers, only maybe 1 to what, 5, 10% really engage with you? The numbers, are we really transforming their lives? If we're not getting those, what some call vanity metrics, does it mean we're off track? Now, we could be off track if we are purposed to teach a lesson 3 times a week and we decide we just don't feel like doing it. As opposed to we're purposed for 3 times a week, but there's a real interruption that happens over here. I've got to feed somebody, I've got to get a person healthy, I've got to whatever. And then I'll come back and continue moving in the direction I'm supposed to move. So
Yeah.
I would say, watch our language, Roy. What we say to ourselves, we started here, is so super powerful. It's part of the grace that we give ourselves. We're not off track if we are truly in alignment and we're doing the things we're supposed to do to take care of faith, family, and then everything else. That has to include us, all of us we've talked about.
Yeah.
Accomplishing big goals, being innovative, doesn't happen by ourselves. Who do we need to tag in? For whatever those parts are, right? Those experts, those skills, the knowledge. And when we do have that interruption, that person was hungry and we had to stop to feed them. That person was sick and we stopped to help them get healthy. Are we truly restarting? Or are we just going back on the path we're supposed to be on? Now, I will say this, Roy. We do need systems in our life to run our life. Long time ago, I heard system is save yourself time, energy, and money. Whatever you want to call it, systems work. And I don't mean technology necessarily. Technology is a part of it, but it's not that. It's your workflows, it's your processes, it's your sequence. You know, I talk about, I lay my clothes out at night like you teach your children. Why? Because if I don't, you don't want to see what I'd look like. I went to church with 2 different shoes on. I went to my job with 2 different shoes on. One time I didn't do it, and this is really bad. I got what I thought was fully dressed till I got in the car. And I looked down. I had everything on, including my shoes and my purse, and no skirt. I just had my slip on. Now I'm sitting out here stuck going, I got to get back in the house. And I'm out here in my slip. Got jacket on, earrings on, stockings on, and no skirt. Like I really did that. So I lay my clothes out like a little kid. That's part of my system. So your system, how you do everything. And if you're finding yourself repeating the same activities over, figure out a systematic way and automate as much as you can. And it's not, there's a whole story there, but automate as much as you can to reduce your stress and still get those repetitive things done. And another lesson from David Allen, your system has to work when you have pneumonia and you don't feel good. It still has to work.
Hmm.
We can all follow great processes when we are happy, we're laughing, we're energetic, all of that. But your systems have to work when nothing else is working. I was in the Navy. We live by systems. Our plan of the day was the first thing we saw. You did not have a day without a plan of the day. Everything we did, if you got woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning and there were no lights, you had to have a system to get you through when you hadn't had any sleep. Why? Because lives depended on your ability to do that thing that you were set to do. So your system had to carry whether you were tired, whether you were hungry, whether you were hurt, whether you were sick, whether you were healthy, whether it was raining, snowing, sleeting, or the sun was out. Just keep in mind, focus on your system, not on your motivation and not on the uncertainty, because we're all going to face it. We all have things that are going to crop up, temporarily detour us so we can take care of that thing we were purposed to take care of and then put us back when we get right back on the road.
I, I hope you guys were taking notes. I'm just going to tell you. You just have to go back and watch this over again. Let's talk about all the places where you can find Florence. First of all, you can go on YouTube. Of course, she is Equip Institute with Florence. So if you are not subscribed to her channel, why not? Go to her channel. Watch her 6:30 every Friday night, Eastern time, 6:30 p.m. on Friday Eastern. And then here's her webpage, Florence Donald Live, and these are all the different ways that you can reach out to her. Excuse me there. I'm fighting a cold. So, anyway, Florence, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. This has been fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep. How many of you in the chat are ready to commit to your goals? And if you need to, hit the reset. I want to see that. I want to see how many of you are willing to hit that reset and get focused on your goals. So that's where you need to be right now. And I just thank you all so much for being here. And you'll have a great night. Do you have any farewell words to everybody, Florence? What's the last thought we end with here?
My last thought. I do. We each of us as creators has someone or a group of people that we are uniquely qualified to help transform, remove pain, and answer questions in their lives. Focus on that. And I have one specifically for you, Roy, so I want you to come back on the camera.
Okay.
You are super duper talented. You are so talented. You are far more talented than I am. Way
true.
more.
That's not true, Florence, but okay.
No, it's true. Trust me, I'm a little airheady over here. But what I want to say to you, because I listen to the words you say, and you know that, Roy, Be good to Roy. And whatever that thing is that it's really super important to you, if it's creating more videos, how many a week? How long do you want them to be? Who do you want them to help? Write that down. And then instead of trying to do the one big thing, the big bang, you know about big bangs in the industry you're in.
Yeah.
Do small incremental changes. Start with, I'm just going to turn the camera on and give one lesson. Remember I told you when I early on started, I didn't even know what a chapter was, but I watched your video on how to make chapters. I didn't even know what they were till I saw your video. It can be something what you think is so simple, but there's somebody out there who doesn't even know that that thing exists. And you have the answer. Be willing to just give the answer. The people will gravitate that you're supposed to gravitate to you and to your voice that you're supposed to reach. Be okay with that. There's another Florence out there like, what's a chapter and how do I do this? Oh, this guy can tell me. And he'll do it with care and heart. And y'all have fun I'll get a laugh along the way, even for somebody who is as humorless as I am. So that's my word of encouragement is you, Roy Richardson, tech troublemaker. You have a tremendous community. But more important than that, you have the ability to help people. No greater honor than that.
That is also true.
Don't run from it.
Can
Don't
I
hide from it.
Can I crawl?
You can't even crawl.
Okay.
Right?
All
Pick
right.
that thing and start. Don't try to do everything. Because you still have a family. You have a mom that you're taking care of. You have you're working tonight and you're sick. You got to take care of you too. We ain't going nowhere. As my grandmother used to say, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here next Tuesday. We got your back. You'll be fine. And you're not off track. Remember those 33 years. Every time there was a disruption, it was somebody that was being served. Every time there's a disruption in your life, you're serving someone. And that I know for sure about you. You were destined to do that. So thank you. Thank you, because I wouldn't be here without you. Not only the show, but I would not still be live streaming without you. So thank you. I appreciate it greatly.
All right. You're going to make my eyes sweat, and I'm not going to like that. So,
no eyes sweating today.
Florence, thank you. I'll send you the check for the kind words.
Nah. You can't do that.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Yeah, I have a cold, so I gotta. Anyway, all right. Hey, go subscribe to Florence's channel. She's amazing, as you just found out if you didn't already know. But most of you already knew. Thank goodness that she's amazing. So you gotta go see her. And here's your call to action. Whatever YouTube tells you to watch next on my channel, that's what you should watch after it gets through processing, of course. So everybody have a great night. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Calling all creators, big and small. Tech troublemakers here to help you all. From thumbnails to titles and going live. Let's grow your channel and make it thrive.